In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a histogram on a PC with Excel. I have the newest version of Excel. I think it's 2016. And here we have weight for a bunch of people. This data set's pretty big. I think around 12,000 or so. So we have a lot of data here. This data is from the National Longitudinal Youth Survey. So this is real data that I downloaded from the internet. And let's see the one way to make a histogram here. And that is to highlight the data and then press this blue bar. If you have an older version of Excel, this might not pop up. So make sure you're doing the blue one and not the multicolored one. The multicolored one is a bar chart, but we want a histogram. And you should know the difference between a bar chart and a histogram. So click on the histogram. You can click this one or this one, but we're just gonna go with this one. And you should notice something odd when it pops up. You see this big bar at the beginning, and it's showing that we have a bunch of people that are between -5 and 10 pounds, and that's a little weird. These are, not babies, so there shouldn't be any weights that are there. So what needs to happen is we need to clean the data first. And the reason that we have these negatives here is because in this data set, the National Longitudinal Youth Survey, they code missing values as negative numbers. So this -2 and this -1 are actually just missing values, and they just code them as negatives. The different negatives mean different things, but it doesn't matter what they really mean. It just means that that's not an actual response. It is a missing value, and we need to remove them. Because if we leave them in, what is going to happen is anytime we do statistics on them, it's going to mess up our statistics. So if we calculate an average, then our average will be lower than it's supposed to be. And then you saw that we made a histogram and we had this big bar that didn't really make sense. So we're going to have to remove them. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the filter function to do this. So highlight that column, and then we're going to go to Data, Filter. And then you see this little arrow pop up here, and I'm going to click on it. And you should see the negatives pop up first because this is an numeric order. So I'm just going to check all the negatives and leave the other ones. I'm also going to check the 1 and the 3 because these probably were values that were accidentally put in the data set. So I'm just going to clean those two. There's some other low values, but they could be correct. But definitely the 1 and 3 are not correct. Okay, and then you can see that it goes all the way down to 472, or up to 472. And press OK. And what you see happens here is that we have these rows that are kind of missing. See, we have 6 and then it skips to 9. What is happening now is Excel is just hiding those numbers. They're not really gone. So I just really want to permanently get them gone. Right now they're just kind of temporarily hidden. But to make things easier, we want to get them all the way gone. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to right click it and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go to a new tab and I'm going to paste it. But what I want to paste here is, I don't think you can see that. So let me make this smaller real quick. Well, I want you to just paste values here. So not just the regular, the paste of values. Let me make this big again. And what you'll see here now is on this tab, this new worksheet, we have all the values, and all the missing values are gone, and we have all the rows here. They're not just hidden. Okay, so now all the missing values are gone on this tab. They're still on this tab, but that's okay. We're going to work with this tab now. We're going to work with sheet 2. Okay, so after we do that, we can highlight this, and if you have the newer version of Excel, you can just click this, and hopefully that works. And it's not working, so sometimes that happens. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and delete this, and I'll delete this. I'm going to highlight that. And it's still not working. So I'm going to leave this in the video. I know it looks like I'm messed up, but sometimes Excel just doesn't want to work for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it and I'm going to close it. And then let me open it again. Okay. And I'm going to try to, sorry, seeing like everything I have here. But I know this is a good learning experience. Sometimes Excel just doesn't work exactly how you want it to. So here we go. Ta-da! So now that I closed out, now it's working. So if something like that happens and it's not working, save your stuff and redo it. Okay? It just happens in any statistical software. Like, I can't figure out why in the world it's not working, and then I close it and then it works, and I'm doing the exact same thing. So I'm going to leave that part in the video because it's just sometimes that's what happens. I don't know why it wasn't working. Okay? And you probably want to change the title of the graph. Okay? We can see that this distribution, this histogram is mostly normally distributed. We have a small tail over here, so it can be skewed to the right slightly, but it's pretty normal, pretty bell-shaped. Okay, so that's one way to make a histogram, but that's not the only way. Now, I'm going to copy this data and put it on a new tab. So if you have a different version of Excel, you might have to do it this way. And what you need to do first is to make bins. And this is also the way to get a frequency table for a scale variable. So what I need to do is make bins, and these bins need to be equal widths. And we probably want to make about 6 bins or so. Or make a little bit more. You can see that histogram that we had before had more than 6. So this is how to make a histogram and have more control over it. And sometimes, depending on what version of Excel you have, if you have a Mac, you have to do it this way. So we can see that our standard deviation is about 50. So I am going to use that as our bin width. So, each bin has to be equal width, and you're going to put the top number in the width in the bin. So this is 0 to 50, okay? And then this one would be 50 to 100. Then the next one would be 100 to 150, and so on. And we want to, I know the minimum was like 50. I saw that before. And then I think the maximum was 472. So you also probably need that information. So you make sure that you get all the bins. I mean all the values. Okay, so actually we don't need this first one. We can move this up because this one is above 50, the minimum, and so it's going to go in this 100 bin. So we don't really need that first one. Alright, so then I'm going to keep going until I go above the maximum. So I'm going just by about a 1 standard deviation at a time. And I want to make sure I get the minimum in there and the maximum. So I'm going to start at the bin that would get the minimum. So 50 wouldn't get the minimum, but 100 would. And then I'm going to go above the maximum. So again, this is what you have to do if you have an older version for the PC or if you have a Mac. And you can also use this way if you want more control over the bins for your histogram. So now that I did this, I'm going to go to the toolpack, which now it didn't stay popped up, so I'm going to have to add it again. Usually it stays there, but sometimes it doesn't work. So we're going to go here. And now it popped up. So I'm going to go to data analysis. And I'm going to go to histogram. It's not actually going to make me a histogram yet, oddly enough. Input range. So that's going to be the variable that we want to work with, the raw data there. The bin range is what we just made. And we're going to put labels because I have, I labeled this stuff here. Oops, I spelled bins wrong. I'm just going to put in a new worksheet. Let's see. Okay, I'm back now. It just took a little bit to make it, and maybe my computer is running slow because I have a lot of things up here. And I'm also recording this, so that might be why. So after it works, you'll get this. Let me fix the spelling there. And so now you can see that we had 41 people that weighed up to 100 pounds. We had 1,997 people that were between 100 and 150. About 3,000 that were between 150 and 200, and so on. And then we also have this more category, which we don't need. And so now I'm going to highlight this data, go to insert, and now I'm going to go and make a bar graph. Alright, so this worked well. I'm going to open and select the data because sometimes this doesn't work quite right. And so if this doesn't pop up like it showed you there, sometimes Excel doesn't do what you want. And we're just gonna try to do this, okay? So if it doesn't pop up like you want, then you're gonna go to edit data there. Okay? And so now you can see for this side, on the left side, I went to add. And I did frequency for the series name. And you don't have to do that. we're probably going to change it anyway. But then for the values, I'm going to highlight to here. And I'm not going to do the more category, so actually I'm fixing it. Oops, we already had it, but so you don't want to do it twice. And then for this side, I don't want the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to select the bins, but you don't need to highlight the actual word bin. And then I'm going to press OK. And press OK again. And there we go. We almost have this right. The only thing is we need to fix the gap width. So I'm going to click on the bars here and go here, these bars, and make the gap width all the way to 0 because we want the bars to touch for a histogram. And then the last thing you can do is change the name. And there you go, we have a histogram. And see, this one looks a little different because we have different widths. So I could make this smaller. I could have made them 20 if you don't like the 50. But you can start out with 1 standard deviation as your width and then go down or up from there.